Have you ever wondered what different social classes actually consider a vacation? Like, not just where they go, but what the whole experience feels like from start to finish. What they pack, how they get there, what they stress about, what they don't have to stress about at all. Because here's the thing, everyone uses the same word, vacation. But depending on where you fall on the income scale, that word describes completely different realities. For one person, vacation is a carefully saved road trip with a cooler full of gas station snacks and a campsite booked 3 months in advance. For another, it's a flight, a resort, a real exhale, and quietly checking your bank account when you land back home. And for another, it's a private jet to a Maldives bungalow, where a butler brings you champagne at sunrise, and the only thing on your itinerary is whatever you feel like doing. Same word, completely different planet. So today I'm going to take you through all of it: lower class, middle class, first class, and then the tier above first class that most of us didn't even know existed. I want you to picture each one like a story, like you're watching it play out. Because by the end, you're either going to feel really seen, really motivated, or a little bit annoyed at the state of the world. Maybe all three. Let's get into it. First, let's talk about something that a lot of people don't want to say out loud. A lot of Americans don't actually get a vacation, not a real one. 1 in 4 working Americans has zero paid time off. Not a little. Zero. And the United States is the only wealthy country on the planet with no federal law requiring employers to give workers paid leave at all. So before we even get to where lower income people go on vacation, we have to acknowledge that for a huge portion of this group, taking time off means taking time off without pay, which means a lot of people simply don't. Now, for those who do manage to carve out some time, here's what that vacation usually looks like: the road trip. This is the backbone of the working class vacation. You load up the car, you split the gas with whoever's coming, and you drive. Maybe to a national park, maybe to a campsite you found on an app, maybe just to visit family in another state, which, honestly, we need to start calling that what it is. A trip, yes. Relaxing, not always. Camping is huge in this category too, and for good reason. A campsite can cost as little as $10 to $30 a night. You bring your own food, you cook over a fire, you swim in a lake, and when it works, it genuinely works. There's something about sitting under actual stars, without a hotel bill looming over you, that hits different. The destinations that tend to come up at this income level: state parks, road trips to see the coast, visiting family in a city you've never explored, the occasional budget motel 2 towns over just to feel like you went somewhere. There's also the staycation, which has gotten a lot of press lately, because in 2025, 52% of workers said rising costs were keeping them home. More than half. So they're treating their own city like a tourist destination, trying a new restaurant, going to a museum, pretending the local park is a resort if the weather's good enough. And look, none of this is sad necessarily. Some of the best trips I've ever heard about were road trips with not a lot of money and a lot of time. But the gap between this and what we're about to talk about is hard to overstate. Okay, middle class vacation. This is where things get interesting and, honestly, kind of stressful. Because the middle class has enough money to want the real vacation, but not always enough to do it without sweating the bill a little bit. This is the Disney World demographic. And Disney World is a perfect example of what middle class vacation has become in America. A baseline Disney World trip for a family of 4 in 2024 costs just under $7,000. That includes flights, a value resort hotel, and park tickets. $7,000 for 4 days. And people do it. They save for it. They put it on a credit card and pay it off for 6 months. They go because their kids want to go and they want to be the parent who makes it happen. That's the middle class vacation experience in a nutshell, honestly. You want to give people the experience, you plan it out, you budget for it, and then you spend the whole trip calculating how much each meal costs and whether the souvenir is worth it. Beyond Disney, the middle class vacation playbook tends to look like this. The all-inclusive resort is huge. You book a package to Mexico or the Dominican Republic, fly domestic or on a budget international airline, and once you get there, everything is covered. Food, drinks, entertainment, no surprises on the bill. That predictability is the whole point. You're staying at a chain hotel or a mid-range resort. You're eating at the hotel restaurant. Maybe venturing out to a local spot once or twice if you're feeling adventurous. You book months in advance to get a better rate. You search Google flights obsessively. You bring your own snacks on the plane because airport food is a scam and you know it. The middle class vacation is a vacation, a real one. But it is also, quietly, a financial event. And the average American expected to spend over $5,000 on vacation in 2025. And for a household that's carefully managing a mortgage, childcare, car payments, and student loans, that $5,000 does not come easy. So yeah, you go, you post the photos, you have a genuinely good time, and then you come home and quietly check your bank account. And then there's this. Let's just set the scene for what a first-class vacation actually means at the top of the income scale. You are not flying commercial. You're not even checking in at an airport. You pull up to a private terminal, skip every line that has ever existed, board your plane, and take off on your schedule. Not the airline's schedule, yours. Private jet usage has grown significantly, and for the ultra-wealthy, it is not a luxury. It is just how you travel. Because time is the most valuable thing money can buy, and a private jet turns a 12-hour travel day into a 2-hour experience. Now, where are you going? The French Riviera ranks as the top destination in the world for billionaire travel. Think Cannes, Monaco, Saint-Tropez. You're staying at a palace hotel or renting a private villa. You might be on a super yacht for part of the trip. A super yacht is basically a floating private island, fully staffed, fully stocked, going wherever you decide. The Maldives is another staple. Overwater bungalows starting at $1,000 a night, and that's the entry level. At the high-end, resorts like Soneva Fushi and Vela Private Island offer things like private underwater dining, villas where the roof retracts so you fall asleep under open stars, and personal yacht safaris. These resorts aren't just expensive. They're designing experiences that literally cannot exist anywhere else. And then there's the private island tier. Necker Island, owned by Richard Branson, is 74 acres in the British Virgin Islands. You can rent the whole thing. The whole island. It's been used by tech executives, A-list celebrities, and royalty. The guest list is confidential, obviously. But when you can afford to rent an entire island, you tend to value your privacy. No airport lines, no other guests, no one else's kids splashing near you in the pool. Your own island, your own staff, your own everything. The experience of a first-class vacation isn't just more comfortable than a middle or lower-class one. It operates on a completely different logic. At this level, you're not searching for deals. You're not budgeting, you're not worried about the bill. You're optimizing for experience, privacy, and the thing that money eventually buys more than anything else, which is time. Your time, protected. Okay, but here's the thing. Everything I just described, that's still technically on planet Earth. Because there is a tier above first class that most of us don't even have a reference point for. And it's genuinely kind of unhinged in the best possible way. Let's start with Antarctica. There are private polar expedition companies that will fly you to Antarctica on a private jet, set you up in a heated luxury dome camp on the ice, and then take you on helicopter glacier landings and submarine dives under actual ice sheets. You get personal climate scientists as your tour guides. The trip costs between $50,000 and $150,000 per person. Not per family, per person for Antarctica. And people are booking it. The wait lists are real. Then there's space. Space tourism has tipped over from a concept into an actual industry. We are in a moment right now where the ultra-wealthy are literally leaving Earth for vacation. Orbital space hotels are being developed with rotating suites designed to simulate gravity, panoramic views of Earth from orbit, and menus designed by Michelin-starred chefs using ingredients prepped in zero-gravity kitchens. Early estimates put a 3-day stay at around $5 million. $5 million for 3 days in space. Meanwhile, the rest of us are fighting over who gets the window seat on a Spirit Airlines flight. And then there's just the everyday absurdity of how this tier moves through the world. Kylie Jenner made headlines after it came out that she took a private jet flight that lasted 15 minutes. 15. Because it was faster than driving 45 minutes. In the first 20 days of 2025, she had already taken 12 flights. And when Jeff Bezos got married in Venice, nearly 90 private jets showed up to the city at the same time. 90 for one wedding. There's also a company that will charter the actual Orient Express, the historic train, just for your birthday party. You can rent racetracks in England to drive Aston Martins around. You can hire a crew to take you to dive sites that have never been opened to the public. At this level, vacation isn't about going somewhere. It's about going somewhere no one else has been, doing something no one else has done, or just moving through the world in a way that is completely untouched by the inconveniences that the rest of us just accept as part of life. No lines, no schedules that aren't yours, no budget, no limit. Let me put this all side by side for a second. Lower class vacation, $200 to $800 total. A road trip, gas, a campsite, food from a cooler, and memories that, genuinely, can be incredible. Middle class vacation, $3,000 to $7,000. A flight, a resort, a real break from life, and a credit card statement waiting when you get home. First class vacation, $50,000 and up, easily, often way up. Private jet, luxury resort and or yacht, private staff, and total freedom from every logistical constraint that everyone else has to deal with. And then the tier above that, $150,000 to $5 million. Antarctica on a submarine, orbital space hotels, renting 90 private jets to attend one wedding, chartering an entire historic train for a birthday party. Same concept, completely different universe. And here's the thing that hits me every time I think about this. The lower class person saving up to camp at a national park is doing something that, in a different framing, the ultra-wealthy pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to recreate. The seclusion, the nature, the stars, the quiet. The difference is just everything in between. The way we vacation is really just a reflection of the choices that money makes possible. And for a lot of people, the biggest luxury isn't a private jet or a Maldives villa. It's just being able to stop working for a week without it being a financial crisis. If that resonated, drop your vacation story in the comments. I want to know where your income bracket sends you on a trip. And subscribe if you want more videos talking about the things that not many people discuss.